So, first item up for bids on this here edition of the Rich Eisen Show is a season-long story arc, as we say in the business. In the NFL, there's week-to-week storylines, and then there's an arc that goes through the entire season, where you take a look at the Bills. That's a storyline for the entire season. They're expected to go all the way to the Super Bowl.
They are.
And maybe win it. So that's a season-long storyline arc. By the way, that's a Hollywood term, isn't it? It's a screenwriter's term. It's a scriptwriter's term. An arc.
A character arc.
It's not like you're putting animals by two. It's an actual design or shape, an arc. So here's a storyline arc for the entire season. How will the Packers offense look without Davante Adams? How will they be able to navigate a full 17-game, 18-week season with 12 not having 17? How will that look? Marquez Valdez-Scantling, MVS, as he's known in GB, he's now in KC, and I pointed out how he's going to fit in quite well there, I think. And Alan Lazard. It's time for Lazard to step up to be a number one guy, and Aaron Rodgers has been talking him up and believes he can be a number one guy. Even had his tongue firmly planted in cheek in his first press availability of the summer, saying that he's going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer as well at his position, as Davante Adams referred to Derek Carr in Vegas. And how's it working with the kids? Are the kids all right? Romeo Doubs, who was drafted at the position this past year, he caught the first touchdown of the preseason. Nice throw from Jordan Love. What about practice? That's where things have to come together. That's when Aaron Rodgers gives that high sign to somebody, that little look, right? How's it going? Apparently not so great. This is a man who chooses his words very carefully. He understands that what comes out of his mouth, certainly when it involves behind the scenes nuts and bolts about an issue that he knows is going to be talked about, he knows is a season-long storyline arc. He knows when he talks about this stuff, it will stand out. And he talked about it. This is what he had to say after apparently a Tuesday practice that didn't go all that well, with his young wide receivers dropping some passes.
The young guys, they got to, especially young receivers, we got to be way more consistent. A lot of drops, a lot of bad route decisions, run the wrong route. So we gotta get better in that area. You keep dropping the ball, you're not gonna be out there. So it's gonna be the most reliable guys that are out there. The preparation and the job responsibility is most important. There's going to be physical mistakes that we've talked about, but if you're going out there and dropping the ball and somebody else behind you is in the right spot all the time and catching the ball, that guy's going to play. It's coming up. Yeah, it's coming up. It really is. We're going to play our best guys, when the season starts. And whoever those guys are going to get the reps. And it's the guys I trust the most and the guys that the coaching staff trust the most. And a lot of it is just the simple responsibility in the offense. Way before, body positioning and movement and the throw and all that stuff, are you in the right spot at the right time? Are you running the right route?
There you go.
Yikes.
That is public. The professor calling out the students. Need to show your work a little bit better. You need to come to class more prepared. You need to get ready for the big test coming up on September 11th in Minnesota. So says Aaron Rodgers. And this is unique. He doesn't usually do this sort of thing at all. What does he usually do? Well, we actually got a glimpse of what he usually does behind the scenes in practice, in training camp, with young players to hold them accountable. And usually these folks have their P's and Q's already lined up. Everything's usually buttoned up because Aaron Rodgers expects it, and you don't want to disappoint him. Aaron Jones told us exactly that when he appeared on this show last month.
He's our leader. He gets everybody going. He holds everybody accountable and to a high standard. He expects greatness out of you, and you just got to prove yourself day in, day out with him.
Can you give me an example of how he does that, please, Aaron Jones?
Yeah. So we might be in the huddle, and it might be a certain play called, and he might get up to the line of scrimmage just to see if guys have been in their playbook or studying, change up the play, throw out a signal, and really give him a little chance to communicate. But if you weren't in your playbook, he's gonna know on that play, and then he'll come out and he'll talk to you, pull you to the side, and like, hey, this is why I changed it. I'm testing you, and you see him do it a lot to the younger guys, and then that's how they know, hey, like, I got to gain his trust. I want to be on the field. I got to know this stuff.
Have you seen him do that to somebody on a certain play, and then when it comes time to actually use it in the game, he uses it to success, and then they kind of share a moment like, remember back in July, back in August? That's why we did it. Have you witnessed that?
I've seen it happen many times, and that's what it's about. In practice, you're not going to be perfect, but you get it down, and you make that mistake, but you don't make that mistake again, and you learn from it. And then when it's time to go execute it, you go execute it, and you look back at those moments, and those are teaching and learning moments, and you thank them. You really thank them for that.
That's it. Which one of these wide receivers in week 3, week 4, week 5 is going to thank him for that? Is it Dobbs? Dobbs had that touchdown pass, but he's a rookie. Juwan Winfrey, year 3. What else we got? Amari Rodgers.
Yeah, year 2 for him.
Year 2 for him. Who's going to step up? Because it's Watkins, Cobb at the wide receiver position, and Lazard. And one of them goes down. You need a 4th receiver. You need a 5th receiver. Who's going to step up? And Rodgers is on the case. And he has felt compelled to say something publicly. I will add another Rodgers phrase to the equation. Relax. RELAX. He's got it. He's got it. But if he's going to start throwing it around and there's going to be some dropsies and things of that nature, somebody's going to hear it. And you know who's not going to feel the pressure? It won't be Rodgers. It'll be the players who don't catch the ball. And then essentially Gutekunst, right? The groceries. Who's shopping for them? August 16th. I know today's the 17th. But August 16th, remember that date when Aaron Rodgers stepped out to the microphone and talked about family business with people outside the family. So there is cause for concern right now, but Rodgers has a process. You heard about it with Aaron Jones. Maybe he is just switching up the play at the last second to see who knows what's what, because he knows now's the time to do it. Now's the time to do it. Heaven forbid, week 1, September 11th, looks like week 1 for the Packers last year. Remember when they got the doors blown off?
By the Saints.
For the Saints.
Remember that? In Jacksonville.
Right.
Because the Saints couldn't play in the Superdome because of the hurricane. And so, you remember that? Boy, it'll be DEFCON 1 there, because everyone will feel they don't have the horses. Last year, that wasn't the issue. Remember, I think, was it Cowher who said that Rodgers looked like he didn't care or something like that?
Well,
Everyone
there was
wondering
also like the weird conspiracy that he was tanking.
He was tanking because he wouldn't have his contract. He was an unhappy camper still because he came back late, too, and he wasn't there in the offseason. It was Rodgers' fault. And, of course, as you know, they wound up being the 1 seed anyway. So I guess RELAX.
They won 7 in a row after that.
But the guy who RELAXs for you felt the need to say something. Put a pin in that. That's part of the storyline, season-long storyline arc for the Green Bay Packers.
So still no pressure for Aaron?
Nope.
None? Okay.
No, I mean, what is he going to put pressure on himself to keep throwing the ball exactly where it needs to be? He can't control the youth and the greenness of these Green Bay Packer receivers. How can he control it? What he can do is coach them up and put the pressure on them. Hey, man, this is Aaron freaking Rodgers in the remaining window of his career. It could last as long as Brady's window until he's 45. But, I mean, right now, This is a pretty big year, but there's still no pressure on him. What's the pressure?
The pressure is to elevate these young kids to superstar status.
Well, he's trying. He's called them out in the media now. So they know this is part of his arsenal as well. He hasn't really had to pull out because he's got Devontae Adams leading the charge last few years. Just keep an eye on all that. That's all. That's all. And don't take the cheese that the Packers are going to stink on ice. That's the cheese that's going to be out there throughout the sports media world. Don't take that cheese.
Telling the Packers not to take the cheese?
I just told the Packers cheeseheads not to take that cheese. That's correct. I did do that.